If you've ever left the pavement in a minivan, then you know that they're not exactly off-road capable. Even when encountering the slightest patch of grass, you can be left stranded, and the traction is actually just plain horrible off pavement. So I want to find out just how capable I can make my simple front-wheel drive Toyota Sienna with the addition of more aggressive tires. Join me today as I transform it from a minivan that struggles off-road into an unstoppable force. Hopefully, I can say goodbye to getting stuck on a patch of grass and prepare for the incredible transformation of my Sienna with the addition of these Falken WildPeak tires. Hey guys, welcome back. I'm in the middle of a big move and I wanted to get the van ready for more off-road. I know it's a front-wheel drive, so it's not exactly going to be, an off-road overlanding beast, but I want to have just a little more traction when I hit the muddy areas so that I don't lose traction with the van. So to get a little bit better prepared for some adventures that I have going on this summer, I got some new tires installed on the Sienna. And before this storm gets here, I wanted to talk about these tires, why I got them, and what some of my plans are for the channel for the next 2 or 3 months. So if you've been watching the channel for any amount of time, you know that I love camping in my minivan. I love getting out and exploring, and one of the reasons I mostly stick to regular campgrounds and places that are very accessible is these minivans aren't really that off-road capable. And where I am right now, there's a lot of dispersed camping that I have access to, and the only caveats to that are that you have to use the leave no trace principles and stay off of the maintained trails in the forest. And so to make my van more capable of accessing those dispersed camping sites, I opted to put some Falken WildPeak tires on my minivan. And I've had Falken WildPeak tires on my wife's Honda Pilot for around 2 years now. I've made a few videos about that, you may have seen them, but the main reason I went with these tires is they have this 3 peak mountain snowflake rating that make these a semi-snow/mud tire. And I'd like to caveat that snow/mud tire statement by saying that these are not mud tires and they are not snow tires. But what they will give me is better performance in those conditions. The tires that I had on before this were high mileage all season tires that performed excellently in the rain, on the interstate, places like that. But the second I would go off-road, even into a place like this grass field right here, I would start to get a lot of slipping. And for example, this place that I'm at right here, which I'll reveal in the next few videos, is a perfect place for me to camp with quite a bit of access to open terrain, but those regular 3-season tires will leave my confidence a little lacking in their ability to get me out if it started to rain while I'm here. The biggest fear that I have when I'm out in these remote locations is, will I get stuck? Will I get some kind of mechanical issue or a flat tire that I can't handle? And I keep the tools to handle most of your smaller issues that you might encounter. But if I get stuck out here in one of these fields, it'll be almost impossible for me to get out on my own, especially if the cell phone signal is not working. So the location that I'm in right now essentially has no cell phone coverage. So if I do get stuck out in a place like this, I will possibly have to hoof it several miles to get help. And so it could possibly take me an entire day from the moment I get stuck until the moment I get unstuck. The rain just started, but before I take a break, the thing I want to make the most clear about what I'm doing with my van is I do not expect to go out off-roading like as if I was in a Jeep or four-wheeling or mudding or any of that kind of stuff. I just want to be just a little more capable. Now, I will test the limits if I am with somebody that has the ability to pull me out of the mud, but I'm not going to go out there in the middle of the wilderness and get stuck without the ability to get out. At least not on purpose. I seem to be having some really good weather lately, so it might have been a good idea to pull out my awning so that I would have a nice place to sit in the cool breeze before the storm rolled in, so that we could talk more about my experience with ordering and getting the tires installed on my minivan. If you're watching this video, you probably have a minivan or a Toyota Sienna, and you know as well as I do that it's kind of hard to find good tires that fit on these vehicles. If you have the all-wheel drive version, then you might have the run flat tires, which are super expensive to replace and don't last as long as the front wheel drive tires do on a minivan like mine. So with that being said, I did have to order my tires from online, and I did a little bit of shopping around, and my options were Amazon, a place called Discount Tires, and then I think Tires Direct. And between those three sites, I wanted to order from a place that also offered installation. And because my van is about 10 years old now, I wanted to get new TPMS sensors. The TPMS sensor is the sensor inside of your tire that tells the vehicle if you have low tire pressure. If those sensors trigger, then you'll get a little upside down balloon tire shaped light on your dash, and that light indicates that either the sensor is bad or your tires have low pressure. And those sensors typically have a battery life of a maximum of 10 years. And so since my van is 10 years old, I wanted to go ahead and get those replaced as well while we're in there so I could get a little better deal on those sensors. So I went with Discount Tire, and I ordered them through their website directly. And these things were not exactly cheap. So for the 4 tires, it cost me almost $900. And that price included mounting and balancing and something called lifetime maintenance, which I'm not too sure. I've never had any luck with maintenance on tires, but unfortunately, I don't really need that maintenance because there is not a Discount Tire location nearby where I am. So I'm pretty much never gonna go get my tires rotated or balanced at a Discount Tire store. That being said, it wasn't too bad of a deal because it was still 20 bucks a tire for the mounting and balancing, and that's pretty much on par with most places I go. I think Walmart might be a little cheaper, but they don't carry these tires, so what would be the point? I enjoy documenting what I'm doing. And making videos of my experience, and I asked the installing crew, hey, do you mind if I take some video while you guys are installing the tires? And the funny thing was, he said, people film this all the time. And I felt like I had my own little personal pit crew in the Discount Tire store. Normally, if you go to like a dealership, you drop off your car, you wait in a waiting area, they do all the work, and then you get the vehicle at the end. In this case, they let me drive right into the bay. I hung out for a little bit, and then finally they said, hey, yeah, go ahead and walk around and take some video if you want to. And you know I had to jump on that chance to take some video, so it's almost like having my own pit crew here. I was able to watch them program the new tire pressure monitoring system. I was also able to watch the entire crew work on like 1 tire each. So I wasn't there for like 3 hours with one guy working on my whole vehicle. It was the entire crew hitting my vehicle as fast as they could and getting everything done in a quick manner. And no, this video is not sponsored by Discount Tire, but I did have a good experience there and I left with some good tires. And so I did want to give them a shout out, you know, just because of the quality of service, the quickness of service, and they didn't try to upcharge me or sell me anything I didn't want. So the guy did ask, hey, do you need windshield wipers? But he wasn't pushy about it or anything. And to be honest, most people don't change their wipers as often as they should, so I was glad he asked. The only hiccup with the install was they have to clone your tire pressure monitoring system. So if I went to like a Toyota dealership, they would put new sensors in and then they would program the CPM with those new serial numbers. But the way the sensors work at Discount Tire is they take new blank sensors and they clone the serial number off of the existing sensors. So my computer didn't have to relearn anything and they didn't have to disconnect my battery or anything like that. But it took them a few tries to get the CPU to recognize the new sensors. And then finally we decided that that light will be on until I drive for a few miles, just until the vehicle recognizes that the tires are in new locations. No, I completely forgot that I left this front window down, so hopefully my Toyota will be okay. It's soaked now inside. The door is just a little soaked, but it's been wet before, and there's a package I've been waiting for. So I'm super excited. Right as I was rolling up the window, the UPS truck showed up. So that should give you a little hint about what I have coming up soon. The UPS truck has delivered to me out at this location, which is also where my new home is. And so I have a little bit of land and I'll be able to do much more detailed power station reviews, camping equipment reviews, and things like that. Because that's honestly what I like to do with this channel. So I got the device that I've been waiting for, but I'm not fully moved in yet. So I'm gonna go back to the other place and I'll finish up this video later. I'm glad I got most of it done before it started raining, but I ended up getting soaked either way. So now I'm gonna get to work trying to see if I can destroy it and test it. Anyway, I'll talk more about the tires in a little bit. These conditions are exactly why I wanted to get a little bit beefier of a tire on the vehicle. This road is just washing out with this rain and eventually it's gonna need to be regraded again. But I'm just glad to be out of the city and do what I like to do, which is enjoy the outdoors and do stuff with some of this off-grid equipment that I have that I just enjoy messing around with. This right here is another perfect example of why I wanted to get these tires. I mean, this thing is concrete and it's not full right now, but I imagine if the rain gets too bad, it'll eventually fill up. In worst case, if I find out that I'm in over my head out here with the vehicle, I can end up getting maybe an all-wheel drive Sienna or even like a 4Runner or some kind of other vehicle to camp in. The prices are just outrageous right now. And this thing is like never left me stranded, so that's not something I want to do. But we'll see what the next year brings. Will I get stuck and stranded and decide to upgrade, or am I going to be fine with the trusty old front wheel drive Sienna that's gotten me through the last 80,000 miles of use?